And welcome back to Coffee with Toffees on this October 30th. This is a special Halloween edition Coffee with Toffees. And some of you might have been saying, Toffees, where's the show been the last couple of days? What's going on with you? And here's the gist of it, guys. I work in Salem, Massachusetts, which is the Halloween capital of the world, and I work in the tourism industry. And the great part of that is it's doing what I love. The downside of that means that my busiest week of the entire year is right now. So I did tweet out and tried to let everybody know that because of the work, because my wonderful mother is staying here with me this week, as well as some other things. I'm just so ridiculously busy. As you guys know, I have a full-time job. I have a new baby. I have all this going on, and I do this because I love the community. I just could not balance 3 shows this week while doing all of that. So that said, that's why we're getting one Halloween show. I'm trying to make it up to you. If you guys are listening on the podcast, you can go over to the YouTube channel or any of the other avenues, and you can see I even dressed up for this thing. So I'm wearing my Jon Snow costume for you today. Should be a lot of fun. I've also got baby Toffees with me. He is chilling right here, so if he decides to get involved with the show, hey, that makes it all the more entertaining in my eyes. So we'll just see how that one plays out. So let's move on. Let's talk about some things we need to talk about. First and foremost, as always, I've got to go through the introduction. Hey, we have a new look across all platforms. We got Seth helping me out. He designed a whole bunch of new stuff for us. It's very clean looking. It keeps the original design intention, but now it's SoundCloud consistent, YouTube consistent, so it just makes it look nicer. And this is an example of what we're trying to do, guys. We do have a Patreon account. It's patreon.com/Toffees. Seth was nice enough to do this for me for a demo so he could actually put it on his YouTube site, and you can actually see a kind of a montage of him and how he made the thing. So I'm going to actually try to bring him on in the next couple of weeks to talk a little bit about what it's like to make overlays. He does this for a lot of different streamers. I think it'll be a really good chat. But that said, this is what we want to invest the Patreon towards, is making the show look more and more impressive without having to actually open the doors to sponsors throwing monies and telling us what to say on the air. So that said, do support us. We appreciate it. You can find all the links on the YouTube channel now or on the SoundCloud. My Twitter, of course, is at Toffees_Dota2. That's the best place to find me. And I am happy to let you guys know that we started a chat room in-game. You can join the Steam chat, and it is Coffee with Toffees, but it's a W/ instead of the word with. And if you join that chat, I will find you. I'll invite you to the guild, and you can actually be part of the Coffee with Toffees guild. No strings attached, and just chat with me. Let me know if you have some good news stories, or just kind of want to hang out, maybe play some games. I tend to drink a lot and want to play games on weekends, and hey, I'm always looking for someone to play with, so why the heck not? But hey, let's do this. Let's go into the news, boys and girls, because it's news time. So first and foremost, you already probably see it up on the screen. You've probably heard about it. We're a bit of a week or so behind because of the break the show's been on, but here it is. GD Studio is set to manage Dream League Season 2. There was the Dream League debacle of 2014, which happened about a week ago, and there was all those mistakes with stand-ins and issues, and just getting back to it's been going on for the last month or so, people getting really, really frustrated. And at the end of the day, what it comes down to is simply this. GD Studio wants, in my opinion, to expand their operations. I've heard them say it before, and they are definitely doing so by getting themselves into some tournament management. So I'm excited to see it. I know that they have the capability to run it. They've been professional. They always seem to do their best work, and honestly, it means more Bruno in our lives. So who can really argue with that? So GD Studio will be stepping up and taking over the management of Dream League, and hopefully that'll silence some of the critics and get us all on board to see some really great Dota. Dream League, obviously one of the staples in tournaments, one of the first, one of the greatest, one of the biggest, and I'm glad to see that they're making the changes they need to stay relevant in the market. Number 2 on the news docket. This is pro news. Bimbo, you guys may not follow South American or Southeast SEA Dota. Sorry about that, guys. Southeast Asian Dota. And if you do, you probably only know about the chaotic issues with the 322s and the scamming and the cheating and all of the things that are so popular to talk about right now. But we do want to talk about the players as well, and that is Bimbo. He is a player who's with Interactive Philippines Excretion. They're doing pretty well. They've had some great showings in tournaments, but he's leaving. He has announced his departure from the team, but we don't have any official statements yet on where exactly he is going. So they went to the Ukraine. They performed pretty well out there in StarLadder, and I was impressed with the stuff that they did. But now he walks away, and the question is, where is he going? Some folks are saying maybe back to Mineski. It's hard for me to believe that you'd leave an organization that's going to StarLadder to join an organization that's in the midst of a lot of chaos right now, but if it's the right choice for the player, I will always get behind it. So Bimbo on his way to a new team, along with new signings. Another one that's happened, this over in Eastern Europe, as Seneko has replaced Weija Zik in the Power Rangers. So PR, another team that's been around for a very long time. We're used to their frenetic style of play, their tier 2 presence in the European scene, and they always feel like they're just a step or two away from being at the top of their game. And maybe, just maybe, Seneko will be the key. I started watching a lot of Eastern European Dota background StarLadder 7, and I fell in love with the Power Rangers style of play. I don't pick favorites. I try my best not to. Obviously, this is a show that is filmed in the U.S., so I do have a tendency to cheer for the U.S. teams during large tournaments. But that said, PR has always made me excited to watch them play, and I think that this change looks like it'll be good for them. He should be going into the support role, which means that he's going to be strong on calls, movements, and I think that he has the personality to really fit with the guys from PR. So I look forward to seeing some great things coming out of him. Tournament news as we roll forward, guys, into the next thing here. We're going to start small. A-Shock beats Moscow 5 and wins the Gigabyte Challenge. So a lot of you probably weren't following it. In terms of prize pools nowadays and tournament size, it's easy peasy weensy, right? The winner, first place, he got 1,500 euros, which I'm not great at math. I think that's around $2,000 US, maybe 1,750. But at the end of the day, they're a tournament that would have been big 2 years ago. So I think it's still worth mentioning. That said, Aftershock beats Moscow 5. Moscow 5, a team that boomed back into the scene earlier this year and everyone thought was going to be a big deal, having so much trouble that they are struggling to win in these smaller tournaments. What does that really mean for them in the long run? I think the largest ramification for the fallout after Gigabyte Challenge. The second piece of tournament news we've got for you is the excellent Moscow Cup comes to an end. Perhaps the most underhyped of all the tournaments. It is done. It's finally finished. Now, we talked to Pimp, and Pimp Muckle was sort of the headliner for this tournament. Had a lot of folks coming through his channel. It was all hosted over on Hitbox. A lot of people were excited to watch it, and it was a really great tournament. The problem, I feel like, was it wasn't out there enough. We never knew when the games were going to happen, and it did make it really tough for the average viewer to follow aggressively. And let's be honest, the prize pool is, I think it was $75,000. It was a $75,000 prize pool. So the winner took home $37.7K. That's a big-ass tournament, but it got no hype. It was so quiet. Why is that? The question was, is it because of Hitbox? Is it because of the fact that it was kind of an afterthought to scheduling because of the way that the StarLadder and some of the Chinese tournaments were breaking down? Something I'm curious to know. I actually want to reach out to Pimp. I haven't had a chance to yet, see if maybe he can talk a little bit about how do you differentiate your big ticket tournament from someone else's. I think that's a huge issue that organizers are going to start to face right now. A $75,000 tournament just wrapped up, and I contend that a lot of us weren't even paying attention. But that said, Empire beats Na'Vi in a 3-1, takes home the cash. He makes 37.7. Na'Vi, nothing to sniff at, 18.8, so a good amount of money for them as well. But the Excellent Moscow Cup comes to an end, which takes us to the update that was my favorite event of the last week and where I spent all of my free time, the little bit that I've had, watching Dota games, and it is StarLadder 10. EG is victorious, and we said I don't pick favorites, but hey, I got a little soft spot in my heart for that EG. I love seeing him do well. They go up against Team Secret. They come out ahead 3-2, and let's be completely honest. I'm going to say it. I'm not afraid to say it. This should have been the TI final. I mean, and not in the sense of like these are the best teams, but in the sense of this is the kind of game that you want to watch when you say, I want to go watch some Dota. Like, these games were frenetic. They were aggressive. They were fun. And I know, and this comes up all the time. A lot of folks hate this 6.82 thing, man. And I gotta be honest, as a caster, I don't love the fact that when I sit down on my computer, I know that I'm gonna be casting a game for over an hour sometimes, and that they're paying me $6 for it, because that's a little bit frustrating, or can be. But at the end of the day, those games are a heck of a lot more exciting. And to be completely honest, I'll happily take that trade all day, every day, if it means games like we saw in Starladder. And now Starladder was not the perfect tournament. There were issues with technology. There were issues with sound. In fact, I heard Vlad fired the sound guy. Like, there was some stuff going on, and it was rough. I also saw some cameraman issues as well. A little frustration on the side of the casting table. That's me postulating. I haven't spoken with the guys since they got back, so I don't know for sure. But it seemed like there was a little bit of a roughness there. But at the end of the day, what we saw in Starladder, and I think that I can say this generally and nobody will fight me on it, is some of the best Dota games in a LAN tournament that I have seen in not a very long time, in a while. And I was very happy to see that, because Starladder was one of the tournaments that got me into Dota. It's been around for a long time. It gets a very bad rap, but man, those games, and more importantly, that grand final was awesome. So go check it out. Guys, Schlemiello is asking for the chat room, and it is not all one word, so it is coffee with Toffees. That's 3 words. It's coffee W/Toffees, and there's a space between on each side of that W/. So join the chat room, get involved. It's always going to be a good time. That way you can actually talk on the channel too if you want while we're live. But keeping on with the news rolling down, guys, I can't talk. I mean, there's not much that I can say beyond the fact that EG's team fight was amazing. Secret's drafts were exciting and different, and their whole tournament was awesome. And honestly, EG beating Secret surprised me. I thought Secret had the advantage going in, but EG played really, really well and very, very strong. So kudos to them in that. Now let's move on to the next one. This is a fun one. Dota Cinema has announced it. I loved it the first time. I guarantee I'm going to love it the second time. The XMG Captain's Draft, baby, is back. This time with a $50,000 grand prize. That means $50,000 for a Captain's Draft game. That's bonkers, but good bonkers, not bad bonkers like 1996 television show, which wasn't that awesome. This is good. And the teams that are competing are exciting as well. We're going to have Fnatic, Na'Vi, Alliance, EG, Power Rangers, Secret, Tinker, and Virtus Pro, man. This is a lineup that I can get behind. These are teams that are great. I think that some of these teams that don't often finish in the top 3, or that are struggling a little bit in terms of, maybe Na'Vi not winning some games that they should have won, do really well in this situation, because the limited pool means that these players, these teams that have played together longer, have a distinct advantage in terms of working well with synergy and draft requirements instead of building pocket strategies or focus systems. So reacting on the fly really favors these teams that have been together for a long time. So I'm excited to watch that. $50,000 is going to be awesome. And obviously you can also, I believe, increase by the community. So not only can you buy a compendium, but you can also buy sets for the Juggernaut. So literally this is probably going to about 100. My guesstimate is 120,000, probably more for this tournament. So it will be an awful lot of fun. And I think that you guys should all make sure you check it out, because I want to see more tournaments with different formats. I mean, I want to see an Artem tournament. Like, get me some Artem, because I think that that's hilarious, entertaining, and clowny. And I think that Beyond the Summit, this is for you guys, Beyond the Summit too, I think you should have an Artem show tournament within the tournament for each team. Single elimination, on the fly, clowny as hell. Winner gets $1,000. So I'm calling it. I think it'd be awesome. I think everybody would watch it. So do that and have a good time with it. Next piece of information news for you guys. It is MPLG. The Mineski Pro League has announced the new season. The lineup is as follows: Interactive Philippines, Malaysia, Myth Trust, Insidious. I have no idea how to say the next team. JoeNet, NVIDIA, Rave, and a couple more slots possibly for Awake and Ideal Gaming. These are teams you probably haven't heard of, and that's irrelevant, because that's not why I'm bringing it up to you. What I'm bringing up to you guys is the fact that the prize pool for an SEA exclusive tournament is $12,000 plus 60% contribution pool for first prize, 5 and 3 for second and third. So this is a big tournament for the SEA region. And what this tells us is that just like the US region was emerging as a totally new market, up and coming 2 years ago, and now we have some of the top teams in the world. I mean, EG just won Star Ladder, so argue with me that they're not one of the top teams in the world. You're going to start doing that in SEA. They've got Team Malaysia. They've got all-star teams coming together. They've got money investing in the scene, which means team houses, which means sponsors, which means the SEA is going to become a bigger and badder part of the scene. So look for that this year. Look for more SEA teams to actually represent and not be joked about in the next TI. In fact, when Excretion went to Star Ladder, the other teams weren't even doing research on them. They were just saying, oh, we'll beat them. It's not a big deal. And yes, they were right. They did for the most part. But at the end of the day, mark my words, put it in stone, save this GIF, post it on Reddit in a year if I'm wrong. But SEA is going to have at least one team, if not two, that are going to put up serious competition in the next TI, if not the one after. By the one after, we're going to have an SEA team that falls into the top 5 in the world. I'm going to say it. I'm going to stand by it. I believe it's going to be true. And this tournament is a signal that that's on the way. Moving on to the next one. Next piece of news here is NEST update, guys. So the NEST is the National Electronic Sports Tournament. It's happening overseas. In Asia right now, the game people playing are Wings, LV, Speed, Vici, Newbie, LGD, Superplayer, and Tong Fu. So the best teams in the Chinese scene, all going head-to-head. Just a quick update so far. Tong Fu has beaten Wings, no big surprise there. LV has beaten SP. So it's almost like they gave a free gimme on the first round to these two top teams. They will play each other coming up. Speed and LGD got to go up against each other. And here's a fun one. VG and Newbie are in the first round right away. Best of 3 going head-to-head. So let's see if they have the dates ready for us here. That's going to be on Halloween. So I think it's actually going to be first thing this morning. We're going to be able to see VG Newbie. So that should be a pretty good game. Definitely worth tuning into. If for no other reason, then it's going to be a rematch of games gone past. It's going to be covered on High Ground TV, so you can head over to HGTV. I don't know who's casting it yet. They haven't called me and asked me to do it, so I have no idea who's on the job, but it will be on there, and it should be a damn good game. That's my pick of the day, by the way. VG versus Newbie. Now, here's a fun one, guys. This is an interesting thing. We never talk about it. The Summit is doing its qualifiers right now. What I like to call one of the most confusing, well, except in Dream League tournaments. It's so hard to track. There's so many games. There's so much happening. So I am going to go over it with you, though, as we've got the time. So running through what's happening in the American qualifiers. As you saw in the round of 16, Leviathan and Root played that one out. Lots of stats going on there. And that went all the way to the finals. So Leviathan and Root both qualified. They basically came in through 2 different brackets. They're the ones who will be getting to advance. When we look at the European qualifiers, let's see if we can get it to load here. There it is. It is going to be Compass and Balkan Bears qualifying. They beat out Coast and Legends, 2 teams that were very strong, but I don't think quite strong enough. Compass did surprise me. I thought Coast would be able to move past them, or even just Hellraisers, but those are the 2 teams going from there. SEA qualifiers is going to be Team Malaysia, up on top with an 11-0 record at the round robin qualifier system. Can't say Whips is actually 5-1. Invasion is 4-2, and Myth is 4-1. So Team Malaysia qualifiers, no problem whatsoever. And we'll be moving on into the actual playoffs. And then the Chinese qualifiers, as you guys will know, Team DK finishes at the top of the bracket and will be the team to advance over LV Gaming. So that's the standings for the Summit. I will say the Summit website has been a nightmare for me to try to get my head around. If anybody from the Summit is listening and you just want to send me a graphical update once a week or twice a week or anything to help me just easily show the fans of the podcast what's going on so they can help track the Summit as well, just send it to me, man. 5midasgaming@gmail.com. I will make sure that everyone hears about it because I think the Summit's a great tournament. I just have a really hard time following the results because there's so many damn games all the time. So that's that for that one. Let's see, what else are we looking at? Oh, that's my email. Let's not open that one up. So those are your updates, guys. Those are your tournaments. Those are your pro news. That's pretty much what I wanted to make sure we got to you, since it's been so long since I had a chance to get a show up and running. So once again, to reiterate for those of you who may have just tuned in, this is the busiest week of the year for me. I live in Salem. It's Halloween. It's crazy. I've got visitors at my house. At the end of the day, we'll be back next week. Our first full-time Back on schedule show should be Wednesday morning. I'm working on getting some guests lined up for the current contract that I have for acting ends on Tuesday, so it's just a lot of things are going to kind of even themselves out and give me a chance to get back to producing the content that we want to produce. If you like the show, follow me at Toffees_Dota2. If you really like the show and want to support it, even with $1, everything is helpful. You can go over to patreon.com/Toffees. Actually, tomorrow is the last day of the month, so that's when Patreon does its collection. So if you do want to support the show, get to it. Head over there, patreon.com/Toffees. We are about $20 now away from releasing the t-shirt. We've got the mugs in works. We actually are thinking the little Tide Hunter logo we're going to embed into a coffee mug and release that. I'm trying to think of the catchphrase to throw onto the back, but we're not sure just yet. Maybe coffee's out because that's when it's time to refill. Put it on the bottom of the cup. That'd be pretty good. Anyway, so a little donation to help us get there. $75 stretch goal means that we do have t-shirts on the way. Should be a whole lot of fun, guys. That's it. That's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I hope you like the new overlays. Let me know what you think. If you are listening on the podcast, they won't mean much to you. You'll see a new icon when you download it to your iPad or your iPhone. That is the new design that we're running with for the time being. Seeing how you guys like it, if it appeals to you. But head over to the website or the Twitch, check out the new overlays that we put together. Let me know if you like the Jon Snow costume, all made by hand. My amazing wife, Mrs. Toffees, made the jacket. We made the vest by hand as well, so all kinds of fun. That said, guys, have a wonderful day. Have a happy, happy Halloween. And play more Dota. I'll see you back on Wednesday. I'll be around. I actually have a little bit of time this afternoon, so maybe we'll do some Jon Snow streams. After we finish the show, I'll come back and do a couple of games or something like that. But it should be a pretty good time. Also, if you have ideas or things that you want to see on the Patreon as a reward, just let me know. You can email me. You can tweet me anytime. That's what I'm here for. So have a wonderful afternoon. Have a wonderful day. And as always, Toffees out.